Spider-Man's current situation goes from bad to utterly terrible as writers Nick Spencer and Matthew Rosenberg and artist Federico Vincentini and Takashi Miyazawa bring in another classic Spider-Man villain, who gets pulled into Kindred's plan for Peter and his family as Doctor Strange guides the desperate family through the astral plane to find their lost friend. Spencer and Rosenberg continue to tell a really fun side story to Last Remains through these 0.5 issues, and I've enjoyed that yet again. Both writers showcase how they are pulling from every era and story of Spider-Man's long history, this time bringing Morlun back into the fold in a rather natural and sensible way. I enjoyed Sin Eater's continued story after he fulfilled his main goal, now falling fully into zealous cult leader status, as a guy who now thinks that he's answering to some higher power, as well as he goes up against Morlun in a really cool and well thought out battle. Doctor Strange aiding the family in the astral plane was quite a fun side adventure as well. The family's part in this story has been quite interesting and really different to what is usually expected or what I expect of the Spider family. A lot of the time they are there to help Peter in a fight or back him up, but I really like how now they are the ones coming to his rescue and acting largely independent from him, although they are a few steps behind regarding what is actually happening in the real world where they are traveling the astral plane. But I like that they are getting involved in the one more day stuff that Nick Spencer is building up in this story and looking to undo all of that stuff that happened in that story. Federico Vincentini and Takashi Miyazawa continue their awesome work in the art department, continuing their really fun action-packed stories, as well as another look at the gross spider monsters Sin Eater created to fight Morlun. That whole fight was a lot of fun to see unfold, and actually quite smart, especially on the writing part with Sin Eater deploying different traps and stuff to trap Morlun. It was fast-paced, savage, and bloody, embodying all of the things Morlun represents perfectly, and it was showcased wonderfully in the art and the colors. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 53.LR was another really awesome tie-in from Spencer and Rosenberg that furthered the multiple storylines the book is balancing during the Last Remains event. Sin Eater's continued insane cult storyline has been an awesome highlight of these tie-ins, and I'm looking forward to Morlun and Morlun's powers playing a larger part in the back end of the event as we enter the final act of Last Remains. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. The Amazing Spider-Man issue 53.LR finds Morlun on the hunt for the spiders, tracking the scent of Sin Eater's men to the garden, ripping open the greenhouse where the monstrous Spider-Men attack. Morlun easily rips through the monsters, viciously tearing off the limbs to try and sate his hunger. Minutes later, the spiders are all dead when Sin Eater approaches the man, saying that at first he didn't know what the sin of Morlun would be, but now he realizes it's gluttony. Morlun wants to know who the villain is, but Stanley says his name doesn't matter, only his calling does. Morlun thinks that he should thank the man for the feast as Sin Eater points his shotgun at the being, telling him that he is there to make sure his martyr's sacrifice wasn't in vain. Morlun quickly smashes Stanley across the face, making the villain stumble back, causing him to pull a grenade from one of his pouches and throw it at the villain, blowing up the entire greenhouse. Morlun isn't the least bit hurt, knowing his reputation clearly doesn't precede him. He launches himself at Sin Eater, slamming him into the ground, telling him he feels insulted he thought a grenade would kill him. Morlun begins to smell the zealotry on the man as he snaps the Sin Eater's shotgun in half. He tells the terrified man that normally he wouldn't stoop so low to eat a human, but there is something about the man that intrigues him, calling him the nightcap to his meal. Sin Eater looks for something to combat the villain, pulling a hidden string nearby. The string leads to a set-up shotgun that Sin Eater had set up before the attack, a shotgun that fires into Morlun's back, killing the villain and giving his powers to Sin Eater. In the astral plane, the Spider family follows Strange as he leads them through the creepy city. Stephen knows that Peter isn't there, at least not anymore. He explains that the dream is Peter's and the astral plane bends its shape towards the soul traversing it, and it makes sense that he would just pass through this world. Spider-Woman thinks that he has led them to a dead end, but Stephen doesn't think so, knowing that they could find the path that Peter took and they need to split up to look for it. He warns them to use extreme caution here, knowing that something else is at play in the realm, something powerful and very evil. The family separate and Gwen goes with Madame Web, who knows that Gwen is still disappointed despite her being the one who wanted Peter to have a choice in the matter when it came to Norman Osborn. Gwen is angry with what Peter did since he made his choice like he didn't have one to make. Jennifer says that Peter did it to protect her, and while she can sympathize with Gwen regarding her frustration, Gwen needs to sympathize with Peter's dilemma since he has seen so much death and feels so powerless and responsible for it so many times. Jennifer says that Peter is driven by guilt and his determination to make sure no one dies, and she doesn't need her ability to see the future to predict what someone will do. As the women talk, something brings them into their crosshairs, firing on them, but Gwen saves Jennifer as they are attacked by a multi-armed monster. The rest of the family hear the gunshots as suddenly a giant monster that bears the resemblance of Kingpin smashes its way out of the ground. Silk Hoax the behemoth doesn't even notice them as it immediately tries to kill them. The family get to work trying to take down both monsters as Miles is smashed away by the behemoth, where he notices a strange portal. Out of the portal comes zombies, with one looking like May Parker. Miles is pulled down into the murky portal by the zombies as Doctor Strange blows them away, helping the family combat the monsters, quickly bringing them to an end with his magic. Stephen says that the pit Miles found is what they are looking for as MJ appears, telling the unseen Peter that her answer is yes. Doctor Strange knows it's really a demon, demanding it show its true form as MJ morphs into a huge monster. The family ready for a fight, but Doctor Strange tells them however they need to get out of there since he doesn't need their help, but Spider-Man does since his soul is at stake. Spider-Girl notes the pit is getting smaller as Stephen tells them to get to it and escape. Jennifer is already at the pit, knowing that this is indeed what they are meant to do. As Doctor Strange continues to battle the demon, the Spider family make it through the portal, landing back in the real world inside a cemetery. The family regroup and get ready to go and save Peter as Sin Eater waits nearby, getting ready to ambush the spiders.